The late afternoon sun slipped through the thick canopy of Millfield State Forest, casting shifting shadows across the hiking trail where Mark Thompson walked beside his 7-year-old daughter, Chloe. At 34, Mark had turned these weekend walks into a sacred ritual since his wife's death 2 years earlier, finding peace in the quiet woods where both father and daughter could heal and create new memories together. Chloe skipped in her favorite pink hoodie, her ponytail bouncing as she pointed out birds and curious rocks along the way. These outings had become their private escape, far from the pressures of Mark's construction job and the constant reminders of loss. "Daddy, what's that sound?" Chloe asked suddenly, halting as she tilted her head to listen. Mark paused too, focusing on the noises around them. At first there was only the forest's music, rustling branches, distant bird calls, the wind's gentle sigh. Then he heard it too, faint but unmistakable, a human cry for help. The voice, weak and desperate, drifted through the trees. Mark's training and instincts came alive. He tightened his hold on Chloe's hand. "Stay right with me," he said, steering her carefully off the marked path toward the source of the cry. About 50 yards in, they found a shocking sight. A woman lay half buried in a shallow pit, soil covering her body up to the chest, while her arms clawed at the earth in panic. Her blonde hair was streaked with dirt, her navy suit torn and muddied, her face a portrait of terror. "Please, help me," she gasped. Mark dropped to his knees beside her, steady but alert, glancing back at Chloe, who stood frozen with wide eyes. "I can't feel my legs," she whispered. "I think the people who did this might return." Mark's thoughts raced. Clearly she had been attacked, left to suffer. "Chloe," he said firmly, "go back to the main trail, find anyone, tell them to call 911, say medical emergency in grid section C4. Can you remember?" Chloe repeated the words, nodded, and hurried away through the brush. Mark began digging carefully, moving dirt with the practiced control of a builder. "What's your name?" he asked gently. Victoria Sterling," she answered with a wince. "I was hiking alone when 3 men attacked. They said it was punishment for taking what didn't belong to me." The name struck him instantly. Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Enterprises. Her face had filled news pages for months over a controversial land project that had forced families from their homes. Mark knew the damage it caused. Some of his own colleagues had suffered. Yet, as he looked at her terrified eyes, he realized revenge and justice were worlds apart. "You're going to be all right. This isn't justice. Nobody deserves this." He freed more soil from her legs as she struggled for breath. "Why are you helping me?" she asked, voice breaking. "You know what I've done." Mark's eyes stayed steady. "Because my daughter is watching, and she needs to see that we help people simply because it's right." Her tears flowed. In her world, help always came with strings, with bargains. But here was a stranger giving freely. "Mark," she whispered, having caught his name earlier. "The Riverside Project. I've doubted it for months. Today, feeling powerless, I finally understand the fear I caused others." Mark shook his head softly. "Later we'll talk about that. For now, let's focus on keeping you safe." In the distance, voices echoed, rescuers moving closer, Chloe guiding them in. Relief crossed Victoria's face. Before they arrived, she looked at him intently. "What you did today changes everything. I want to lead with compassion, not just profit." Mark's answer was calm but clear. "Then you must listen to the people who were hurt. Real change takes more than intentions." 3 months later, her promise took form. Sterling Community Foundation was dedicated to housing aid and job training for families displaced by corporate projects. Mark Thompson was chosen as Director of Community Outreach, using his knowledge and leadership to bridge the gap between company and community. The foundation's first effort built affordable homes for the families removed by the Riverside Project, with Mark overseeing construction and Victoria meeting directly with residents. Chloe often visited the offices after school, welcomed as a symbol of hope and a reminder that the most important choices were the ones shaping a better future for children. The woman once left buried in the forest had been pulled not only from the ground, but from the isolation of power without conscience. And the man who saved her discovered that the greatest structures built by human hands are not towers of stone, but bridges of dignity and compassion. Together, they showed that unlikely alliances, born in moments of danger, could rebuild communities and restore trust when guided by courage and respect.